Hey everybody, it's Christina again. And well, I think it's time for us to talk about some more things about teaching music on a cart. But first off, we don't need this yet. All right, so I have Baby Yoda here to help me out because, well, we're gonna need all the help that we can get as we're getting ready for this next school year coming up. So I made a list of all the things that I think about before I start teaching for the school year, especially since I know that I'm going to be going into a classroom situation. First thing you want to do is talk to your admin. They are going to have to be supporting you as you go into the classroom, because one of the biggest things is, yeah, you're going into a classroom, but it's not that teacher's classroom, because if there's a lot of people pushing in, it is the school's classroom. It is not necessarily that teacher's classroom anymore, because you are all sharing that teaching space. So if you can somehow get them to think about that as you're planning for the year, as all the teachers are planning to push in, to change that mindset, that the teacher doesn't belong to the classroom doesn't belong to the teacher, it belongs to the whole school, it belongs to the students. That is their learning space, and you're gonna have to be sharing. So that's just one of the biggest things, is to think about that mindset and how you can change it. So in my last video, when I showed you my crazy cart, it's a Stanley toolbox. I said that there are some non-negotiables that you need. One of them being that you're going to need a projector. Number two, if there's a document camera available, you're going to need that also. Number three, and you will need some board space. So that shared space, blah 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 blah. Okay, so the next thing that I do is I go into every single teacher space that I'm going to be sharing. I go into every single classroom near the end of teacher week, when everything's being set up, and I look around the room and I see, what am I going to be dealing with when I walk in. I try to locate where the projector is. I try to locate, if they have a teacher computer hooked up to it, are you going to be able to hook your computer up to it? Are you going to have to bring your own cables? Is everything even set up? Because there are those teachers that don't set anything up, because that's just not how they teach, but you need that stuff available. So what you got to do is you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to set that stuff up. You can tell the teacher, if there's just overwhelmed, to be like, hey, can I do it? Can you do it? Say, hey, I would love to set this up. And guess what? If you set it up, it'll be so much better for you. But also think about everybody else that needs to use it, okay? So they can thank you and cheer and go, yay, the music teacher took care of all of my stuff. Aren't they amazing? And one of the other things my teammate Catherine told me that I needed to remember to say is, get a set of boxes for each of your classrooms. And we have these just like little file folder type box things, and put one in each classroom. So kids, if they have materials that they're going to be using from one week to the next, or one class to the next, I should say, depending on your schedule, that you can put everything in there. So have a box, a space to put that box, that you have student materials. Now, please talk to the teacher and be like, hey, can it not be put in a closet where I can't get to it? That would be kind of helpful, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to be like, okay, kids, where's the box? And it's in a closet on the highest shelf possible that you can't even reach, because if you're short like me, and your teammate Catherine, who's the tall one of the group, isn't around to go get the tall stuff. Yeah, just try to do your best to be like, hey, that spot's empty. Can I please put it here? This would be great. So, box. Make sure you get a box. Because you're sharing the space, there's going to be some things that are going to happen as you're teaching. The teacher might decide, ooh, the kids are in the classroom right now. I'm going to start pulling them and do testing. Makeup testing. Oh, they didn't finish this test, so I'm going to grab them right now and just test them in the back of the room. Stop. Okay, check with the music teacher. Check with the teacher that's actually teaching. They have stuff that they have to give grades to. So stop. Don't do it. If you're the music teacher and they keep doing it, you probably will have to take them aside and be like, hey, can you not? Better yet, set a standard beforehand, talk with the admins. Don't have meetings in the room, okay? If a teacher's in there teaching, don't have a meeting in the back of the room. You know, it's noise, it's distracting. If you're, you know, has some ADD like me, like every single sound, I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? What are you talking about? Like, I have to know everything that's going on. Okay, so if you're going to be talking around me, you better believe I'm going to be listening. And you better believe that the kids are going to be listening, because come on, they can't focus. Ask that the teachers not have phone conversations, okay? Offer your office space for them to go to. I always had my office space available to be like, I would tell the teacher, I'm like, it's going to be noisy in here. I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep it down. This is a music class. We play instruments. We sing. We make a lot of music, not noise, unless it's beginning recorder. And then it's going to be a whole lot of noise. Just so much noise. Like, I go in and I hand them earplugs the first couple weeks. I'm like, sorry. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you talk to your admin, say, hey, please don't pull kids. 2, please don't have meetings in the classroom. And 3, don't have phone conversations, or just loud conversation. Don't let the bad habits get started. Okay, so ahead of time, take care of that. All right. Oh my gosh, it's so hot in Maryland right now. The humidity. First day of school, when you get in there. All right, seating charts. I've seen some things about, you know, asking teachers for seating charts. When you walk in the room, take a picture of the class. Don't bother teacher for a seating chart. They have enough on their plate. You would normally do the seating chart yourself in your own classroom. So, you know, just take a picture, have that picture as a reference so you can sit down and you can just do the seating chart yourself. Unless the teacher has one available for you. If they do, that's amazing. That would be wonderful. But half the time I'll ask for seating charts, half the time I don't get it. And you know what? You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the frustration that will happen. So just have the picture. And another thing that you can do is when you look at that picture, you know, you see the kids' faces. You can see which kids are a bad fit next to each other. We know what they are. We know who they are. All those little spicy children. Good thing you can go back to the teacher and be like, hey, did you know that these 2 kids is just asking for an explosion? All right. The teacher might not be aware. I've had to do that a few times to be like, hey, by the way, I would not sit those 2 girls next to each other because that is just mean girls happening right now. All right, they need to be on opposite sides of the room. Because you know these kids. You know these kids better than they do. Some people are asking about attendance. What I do is I take attendance every class. Because you are the teacher in the room. You are responsible for them for those 30 minutes, for the 50 minutes, for the hour, however long it is. You are responsible for them. You need to know where they all are. So you need to take attendance. And, you know, talk to the teacher and be like, is there anyone not here today? Sometimes, even if you just do that, you know, do a quick count of the kids, see if you have as many kids as you're supposed to have in there. That could kind of be weird because sometimes you might have extra or new kids that just show up and you don't even know, where did you come from? One of the great things one of my old schools did is they had a chart. So on this chart that's laminated, that has the class list, at the beginning of the day, the teacher would put an X next to every kid that was absent. They would also put down, hey, this kid is at the nurse. Hey, this kid is doing pull-out reading. Hey, this kid is doing pull-out math. Okay, this kid is with their ESOL teacher. That way you know where they are, and they would hand you that laminated form. And at the end of the class, you would take that laminated sheet and you would fill out where all the kids are at the end of class and hand it right back to them. That way you do it in the moment and you don't have to necessarily have the interaction, you know, as you guys, this teacher's running out because they need to go to the bathroom, or you're running out because you need to go to the bathroom, or they're 5 minutes late and I am 3 minutes late for my next class. It's going to happen. Nip it in the bud if it's, you know, one of those teachers that just doesn't know what time is. They just do whatever they want. And you're sitting at the door going, please come back. After you roll your card in whatever you're going to be using, I would suggest something smaller, not larger, because sometimes there's not going to be room in the classroom. All right, so have all your materials ready to go. if you're using a computer, have everything pulled up and ready to go. Have it pulled up at the beginning of the day. One of the things that my amazing teammate Catherine does is that she has Google Slides, and as she's planning for the week, scissors, distracted. I'm distracted from talking to myself. All right, so one of the wonderful things that my teammate Catherine does is that she has all these Google Slides that as she's planning out for the week, she actually goes through and she makes a list of everything that's going to be happening for that class, for those kids. So she puts it up so the kids have an idea of what's going to be happening in order. And the great thing about doing that is at the beginning of each day, she can just go through all those lists and be like, okay, yeah, this is what I planned for this class. And then she can just pull everything that she needs from wherever it is, throw it in her cart, have it ready to go. Pull everything up on the computer. We use Quaver at my school. Love it. Anyways, I love Quaver. So we use Quaver, and so you have to go through a lot of the slides, make sure that they're pulled up. You have all the lessons pulled up, all the songs pulled up, so they are ready to go, because you don't want to have a lot of dead space when you're in that classroom. So when you walk in the classroom, make sure you have all that stuff set up. And if you're using instruments that day, try to get them to the class before you get there in the morning. So if you have to get to school 10 minutes earlier, get to school 10 minutes earlier so you can deliver all the materials that you need to each one of the classrooms. I wouldn't have students do it this year, just because of contact and yeah. So it's going to be different. You might have to have like a whole bunch of collapsible carts that you just have around that you throw things in, and then when you don't need that cart, you just collapse it back up. I have a few that I use along with my toolbox. So have them ready to go. So when you get so anyways, when you walk in the classroom, as you are setting up, tell the kids what they need to have. If they need to have a pencil that day, if they need to have a marker that day, if they need to have whatever you're using, wooden dowels or anything, if you're going to be doing some rhythm work. If you have to hand out materials, hand it out as you're getting yourself set up. Because you don't want to have a lot of downtime. One thing that I know some teachers do is they actually have a turn and talk question. So you might have just a piece of paper that you just, attach to the wall. If it's magnetic, you can put a magnet on the back. Use those clear divider things, pockets. What are they called? You know what I mean. All right, so have one of those clear divider things, and you can just, attach it to the board with the turn and talk questions so they can start talking to each other about whatever you're going to be doing for that lesson. You could maybe have your speaker ready to go. So you play a song as soon as you walk in, open up your computer, start playing that song. That's why I like to use the Bluetooth speaker, not anything you have to plug in, because that just takes too much time to try and find a plug that might be available or might not be available. And then you have to have extension cords running around the room. Just don't deal with that, because you never know sometimes what you're going to walk into. So make sure you have everything ready to go. So you can just get teaching right away. And when it comes to making noise, so final thing, you're a music teacher. You make music. It's gonna be noisy. So start making music from the beginning. Train everybody that, yes, you're still gonna be making music. And just tell them, if there's testing, just let me know. And that way you can plan ahead of time to do something quieter. But make music from the beginning. I hope these things helped. If you have any questions, let me know that you might need answered, and I can come up with some answers for you. I can talk to some other teachers that I know that have been on a cart for a while, that have been there and done that. So just let me know in the comments. And I'll try and answer any other questions you might have. So anyways, happy teaching. Good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know what's going to happen at my school. All right, so have fun teaching. Wine time with Weston. It's not wine.